Good evening. I'd like to welcome everyone this evening to the Laguna Madre Water District regular board meeting of July 26, 2017. We just came out of a workshop. We've already called the Pledge of Allegiance. We've already called the quorum that we have present for the current meeting. We do have a full quorum. We do have absent two board members, Board Member Thomas and Board Member R. Wells. If we can move on to item number 4. Consider and approve the minutes of the workshop meeting and minutes of the regular meeting on July 12, 2017.
So move.
Motion made by D. Wells.
I wasn't here.
Mr. Kepling was not present. I was here, so I make a motion to...
Second.
I second and make a motion to approve the minutes of the workshop. Moving on to item... Are all those in favor?
Aye.
I abstain. For the record, Mr. Keplinger abstains. Moving on to the motion that's passed. Moving on to item number 5, District Engineers Report, Bureau of Reclamation funding opportunity for the Title 16 water recycling projects and proposed Padre Boulevard water and sewer crossings at SPI Birding Center. Charles?
Yeah, this first item is just the backup to the announcement that came out on July 17th. So we know we've been anticipating a funding opportunity announcement for Title 16 grants. We don't know when, what form it would be issued, but it turns out that clock started on July 17th, like we discussed in the workshop. So this is just more of the fact that it's out there, and whether or not we can be interested in submitting that application. I suppose we'll follow up with that in the workshop, whether we pursue that or not, and then take it from there. So that's pretty much, you know.
So this is just the official notice that you got as you're presenting it to us, that on the 17th they sent out the notice of availability, but as we heard in the previous workshop, we only have until August 21st to start doing other things in coincide with this.
Well, yes, our local, our method, if we're going to use tax funds for local matching contributions, to get on the ballot, that deadline is August 21st. And to get our grant application submitted for review by Bureau of Reclamation for 2 years' work, that's due August 17th.
I'm going to ask a question, and legal can correct me if it's not appropriate, and that would be the discussion of August 21st being the time that we have to kind of get the bond, different steps for the bond election in order if we're going to have a bond election this year. My question to staff, and legal you can stop me, is if it has to happen in 17, or can it happen in another election cycle period, i.e. May of 18.
To call a bond election?
Yes.
In general?
In general.
Yes.
I don't know that answer off the top of my head.
There is May.
Yeah, in terms of, you know, there are multiple election dates throughout the year. We passed some uniform election dates that, you know, consolidating because we want higher voter participation, so we don't have as many election dates as we can. So I guess the question is, statutorily, to pass a bond, which election dates must we do it, or do we have discretion to do it on whichever election date is held through the year, correct?
That is correct.
I have to look at that.
Yeah, and so that's a consideration I'd like to look at, because we're under a real time crunch, and I hate to rush this trying to do that. So anyway, you get what I'm asking, so
yeah,
thank you.
We can call it.
What dates can you have an election?
If this title, correct, if this Title 16 water recycling project, if it's viable in 18 in May, or even in November of 18, would we want to give consideration to doing it then instead of trying to rush it to get it in 17? That is my real question.
Yeah, we'll get that. Charles is going to come tomorrow. We'll get the Secretary of State's office on the phone and get that question answered.
Thank you.
Thank you, Council. Moving on to the next bullet.
Yeah, so the next item on engineer's report is just an update of the, you know, what happened at place, obviously, right there at the Birding Center on Padre Boulevard. They have that SFO on Wednesday. And what's going on there is our force main coming off from the one power station, picks up everything from gardenia and landfall towers, pumped by a pressure main, you know, on the same side of the street as DE, Clayton, and Lisa across that Birding Center. And then at that point, we have a gravity sewer that continues on to the sewer pump. And so, you know, with that break, in the check valve there on that site, that basically the sewer was filling out there all day until we were able to fix everything at 10 o'clock at night. And, being that essentially any pump station manifold of that force main, which, in places where there's not an option, that's kind of a common thing. So in our case, we have Tiki, La Quinta, and Clayton's all tied into that force main by pressure. So there's where that pressure is going to go out for this type of stuff. And so, what we're trying to do to prevent that issue in the future is cross a gravity sewer there at the Burning Center, and from that existing 50-inch sewer, extend it across Padre Boulevard and just drop a manhole, and then at that point, let the developers continue with their lines to decommission their lift stations, or at least connect to the gravity mains to connect from the pressure room. And so this would be, it's been in the talk, since 2015, a couple of years, but as far as the engineer's report would be taking care of that sewer costing in-house, I would put together the bid specs, and then we put it on the budget request, but we would just take care of that costing and just have it prep for, everybody else to continue from here.
Don?
From a historical understanding, the event that happened, apart and separate from the part that failed, but historically that was in place because of the lack of development in that particular area of the island. And so it didn't make sense at that time to have a gravity flow across to the west side of Padre Boulevard. And so everything was, just in a lift station from the Solomar, and that was just 7 bedrooms. And so the area has outgrown it. And what you're proposing here is to look at doing something that's going to be more of a user-friendly, or what I want to say, more beneficial and economical to the district and its customers. So you're talking about doing putting a line underneath the road, a gravity line, open cut.
Right. And actually I'm proposing both the water and sewer, but at the same time I'm jumping over the water side from Sunset Drive. That's essentially an 8-inch main that runs on that side of the road and dead ends at the exact street. So with all that development on the 8-inch, there's been points where there's and so since we're going to be cutting Padre Boulevard open, we can go ahead and run an 8-inch crossing and cut it to 6-inch there.
And then the water line would be looped at that time, so that.
Do we kind of have a time frame of when they're thinking of doing this, or?
Oh, I could probably put the content together in a couple of months. Put it on the October budget.
Where's the funding from this? Are we you're talking about the district doing the cut, district doing the lines, replacing the lines on the west side? What's in discussion there? I'd like to hear.
It'll be the street crossing itself would be requested to be funded through water and sewer infrastructure.
And then what about connecting to
That
the?
would be a private.
They're going to have to do it themselves. Is it going to be on private property?
We require 10-foot easement on Clayton. Address the water.
Yes, but I don't think
this is just a report.
Report only.
Yeah.
I don't
You're in
think.
the public comment.
What's that?
You're in public comment.
We passed the public
We
comment.
already passed those.
Was that during the workshop?
We
No,
didn't
that
call
was-
it.
that
No,
was-
we didn't have public comments. You jumped over it.
I did, that's my fault.
Well, then we can go back.
After this discussion item, we can go back.
We'll go back. I did.
All right, then let's just do our in-house discussion with the engineer right now, and
And
then,
then we'll go back.
and then if there's any public comments related to anything the district has, that's welcome then, or appropriate.
Right. And right now, I still owe finance capital planning for next fiscal year anyway, the budget. And so I will be adding this project on the budget.
When you do that, I'd like to see not only the cost of doing it, but I'd like to see the financial benefits of doing that, and some projections of what is associated with that.
Yeah, well, I'm just.
Because there's another hotel going in that area too.
Right. And it would also.
And that's a lot of, sorry to interrupt, but that's a lot of use, so we need to service our customers.
Right. And it would be about 654 units, right, plus the future development.
But I'm not clear where you're going with this, so I wonder, as far as.
I'm just understanding it myself, and from a brief conversation with staff out there when they were fixing the thing and explaining, and what Charles mentioned before about, we need to get a gravity line like everywhere else in the island is underneath the road, and then put it over there beyond the right-of-way, state TxDOT's right-of-way, onto private property, then it's gonna be up to those folks to, you know, give an easement and put that line in there and make their own connections and everything. So they're gonna, my understanding is, and we'll get into public comments, let them say yay or nay, but I'm just saying for our engineer, he's saying that he can save us some money and just do the in-house engineering and work in cooperation, I'm assuming, with the engineer of the new hotel, and they've already spec'd out their needs and collaborate with them.
Yeah.
I just don't want to spend a lot more money in anything other than laying pipe.
Right, and we've already had those coordination meetings with the Lennon, and between those, is already on Thursday, and we've already, go ahead and do the work and have the
And Charles, by proposing what you're proposing and doing what you're proposing, this will prevent any future sewer spills in that area?
Well, if they're breaking that force main, it's not gonna be no trespasser, you know, it'll eliminate those.
Plus, you would solve problems of the convention center, future development on the west side, if something had happened, and you would open up further stuff up north, running that line. That line would then run and tie in with the north stuff too, is that correct?
Well, yeah, I mean, you'll have
Correct.
that depth to get down to DP212 or run it north until you.
So you'd open up the east and the west side,
However, I can run it.
density development,
You can always
or
take
heavy
the
commercial.
station.
So that's what you would be engineering the line across the road for. You would be engineering projecting future needs.
Yeah, besides for 12-inch.
Okay.
It kind of really bottlenecks, everything bottlenecks up there at that, I mean, water, sewer, everything.
Right.
About Blackbeard is where the choke point is.
Well, the good thing about the gravity sewer in the Virgin Center driveway, it's already there. So I just have to go maybe 40 feet underneath that first manhole, which is past the Virgin Center entrance, and then we're tying into the 50-inch gravity sewer. So there's not, from there, we just put something over 12 inches across by the building.
I support moving forward with the report and give us some estimates of cost.
I do apologize, nothing, no intention. I did accidentally skip invitation to the audience for discussion. I'm sorry about that. Do we have anyone at this time that would like to discuss? Anything discussion only, no comments, just discussion. Yes,
Yeah.
please come forward.
Just for
State your
clarification,
name for the record.
My name's Clayton Bashir, and I have Raj Patel here. Raj is representing the La Quinta and the new Marriott and the Hilton.
Clayton, just for clarification, I'm sorry, you said it already, but just for clarification, as you know, during the comments, we will not be able to respond to anything that you're saying. We can only listen to the both of you or any of you, but we cannot engage in any dialogue with you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Just to bring you all up to speed, when Mr. Galvan mentioned a while ago that in 2015 we had an incident, this has been going on for a while, and we're trying to solve a problem that exists over there, and we need your help. I'm going to give an easement for them to do their new hotel, so I'm giving up some land in the front that Mr. Galvan spoke about. We need y'all's help in getting that line across the highway. If you can get it across the highway and put a manhole, then we will take care of everything from there. So it's kind of a shared project, and I've owned the Solomar property for, I don't know, 15 years or 20 years, and I've had ongoing problems with the force main, and it's time we get off the force main. They have pumps at La Quinta that sometimes pump over into the street, and what happened the other day with we had a big problem, and we just, the TCQ's after us, and we just don't need those problems. We're too far along in this society to be having that kind of trouble. So we're really here asking for your help. And to get it moving, I want to ask you to, if you need to make a new agenda item, put it on there, your all's cost, and let's get it rolling, because it's an issue that's happened before, and it's going to happen again. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Raj Patel. I'm here on behalf of the ownership of La Quinta and the future Courtyard Marriott. I'd just like to say that there is we opened La Quinta in 2003, and back then, we were contemplating on what to do about the sewer. We had two options. either put a lift station or try to somehow cross the street and tap into that gravity line that's across the street. At that time, it was just too complicated for us to do that. The cost was too much, and it was just easier to just put a lift station. So we went ahead and did that. But that was about 15 years ago, and throughout those years we've had a lot of struggle with that lift station. And I think the water district can tell you, and you guys know how difficult it is to manage lift stations. So we would like to get off of it. It's a constant maintenance issue for us. And this opportunity is an opportunity where the district can help 3 businesses at least that are, I think, one of the biggest businesses on the island. La Quinta generates, I would say, well over $1 million. We contribute over $1 million in occupancy tax, city, state occupancy tax, $150,000 in property tax, and then, we have the Marriott going up, and is going to contribute even more than that. So I think economically, it makes a lot of sense for the district to help us in this endeavor, and I'd like your support. And thank you for your time.
Thank you, gentlemen, for your time and addressing. Okay, anything else to discuss in open session? Staff, board? Nothing at this time. Moving forward on to item number 6, Director of Finance report.
I have a report on the year RFP we met with the educational committee, and I put some copies on the side of the webinar, the RFP and AMI 170601. The proposal so far is not to go with the meters. Is the lowest bidder that we have is Ferguson. Is I don't know if whatever the board may decide, if you all want to have like a workshop or just or agenda for the next meeting, and if the elected if you like to proceed this project. So far, it's everything on proposal. We don't have any commitment or anything like that, but it seems that it's more feasible just to change to the actual software, to the AMI, and not to go with the new implementation. But that's something that we discussed at the professional committee, and unfortunately, the full board may decide. And that's on the years. And
Wait. Staying with the meters, may I?
Yes.
Hold on, Doyle.
Yes.
Hold on. Before we go, what she just gave us is something that I had her, when we met as a professional services committee, just to prepare for the board to look at now, not really to discuss right now. We're going to put it on a future agenda. We'll discuss it later. If you guys need any more information, contact Samwana as far as the layout goes on what y'all have there, and then we'll discuss it as a full board. That was our recommendation as a committee, just to compile all this information, and then we'll do it as an action item later.
Agreed. I have 2 questions on that line.
Do you have an idea of what action or what timeline we'd like to put it on as an action item, or is it?
I mean, as a professional
Timeline?
it doesn't matter. It's up to the board to decide. If we want to put it on the next agenda, that's fine. We can do that, or a week later, or the next two weeks later. I don't have a problem with it.
If I may, I would like to put it as a board agenda for the next board meeting, but it's depending on you, if you would like to have meeting with the vendors, to have presentation morning, or just going in consideration in the national board agenda.
Doyle?
Two questions. One question is that you have 3 vendors. And there was 7 submitted proposals. And staff has selected these 3 vendors as the most viable for consideration. Were the others way out of line, or how close were they? What was separating them out?
On the second page, we have a list of the numbers, and you can see that the other 2 were more expensive. There were 2 that did not provide.
Okay, we'll just leave that for our project later. That was my question that we can address in the workshop or the next agenda item. And then I'd like to know from here, I don't know if this is for the meters or just, you know, the AMI on top of the meter, on our existing meters and all those things. So this is, and I've only 2 minutes looked at it, so make it jump out at me exactly what we're looking to consider.
It really says AMI, no meters, AMI and meters.
Okay, a minute and a half I looked at it.
Okay, that's why we should discuss it right now.
It's just the follow-up on the RFP that we have. Remember, we have this project going, and we already have 2 workshops on this project. So far we have reviewed so much information and references from each one of the vendors, and the staff already is recommending those 3 as the lowest tiers and pretty much capable of doing the work. And all the vendors that we got are offering the best meters. I mean, I can tell you that all of them are good. However, we can look into a little more detail, and based on the references, we are proposing these 3 that we're seeing on the top of the list, and the professional committee agreed that these 3 were the best ones or more feasible to do this project. And of course, the full board will take an action depending if you all want to have like a workshop or not for a discussion.
I'm good with it.
For next agenda?
Or whenever, but, you know, we don't need all the answers right now, just...
Okay. Let's, I would suggest put it on the next agenda and see where it goes. Jeff?
That's fine.
Okay.
Let's move on to,
Well, she wasn't finished.
oh, I'm sorry.
Yes, that's okay. And on the next item that I have for the medical insurance, this information I just got it today, so that's why I didn't give you any of this information. But we've been looking into the medical insurance. It's due for the following year on October the 1st, so we're trying to go ahead and look for different rates. And we got some quotes for different insurance companies. And on the top of the page on the memo, I'm just providing some of the best options that I can consider the best options. But of course, the rest of the information is on the second and third page. And if we go up to 4.5% increase, we can keep what we have, all the benefits that we have in the insurance. And if it's too much or if it's too high based on our current budget, the other option that we have is to remove the out-of-network benefits, and we can kind of like stay with the same amount that we're paying on a monthly basis per employee, which is $526 a week.
If I may say, I would recommend putting this as an agenda item on for the next board meeting and see where which direction I want to go. It is, you know, pretty good substantial increase dollar amount, so the full board decide which direction they choose to go forward with.
Agreed.
And my last item that I have on the report is the budget update. We met also with the budget committee is Mr. saying I'm just waiting for his report so we can complete the report. And I'm planning to put in the board agenda for the next meeting. And I would like your recommendation if you would like to have another workshop, or we can just move forward. I have not changed any of the numbers that we revised the last time. So I believe that we agree on having it included in the board our agenda, but this time if we have so many items, I remove that item from the list.
My thoughts would be, really, if you're gonna have a workshop, you need to have two discussions. The bond proposal and this budget item they're two big items. They're really should be identified one at a time, honestly. And again, you're back to make sure there's full board participation. Because the full board has to adopt the budget also coming up. It has to be accepted by October 1st, is that correct?
Actually, by
September
September the 13th.
the 13th is the,
Yes, because I need to have all the property taxes rates and everything.
all the included into the budget.
Yes. And, we already have two workshops on this budget, and, so far, I guess the biggest change will be on project of transfer, which we're gonna move forward. One with the RFP meters, and also whatever changes, we're seeing now.
Adopting the budget doesn't mean much because it's always amended and adjusted, but I mean, it's the guideline of where it's going.
Exactly. The most important thing on the budget is to kind of like have a good sense of what is how much we're going to be spending. In this case, I think that when we have discussed, we even included a fund balance line item, and that can also be removed or changed at any time.
Jeff, you're on the budget committee, right? How would you like to proceed with this?
I think we just, I think we've had a couple of workshops on it. Mr. Wells is on the budget committee also, and I think we're just ready to proceed, put it on the, maybe
agenda for approval?
Yeah, and I don't wholly agree with the fact that it's, yeah, the budget can be amended any time, but it's also steering, and we spent time last time on discussing items that we thought would be helpful in the budget. You know, we're desperately needing a few vehicles. Conversation about the vacuum truck that we still haven't got answers from on that.
The board does approve the board to spend the money on that. I mean, it doesn't just...
Right, but the capital outlay
Yeah.
projects,
Yes.
the direction of what we want to go. So, if those are all encompassed in the budget for the coming year, and we discuss them a little bit.
if there's too many items on the first meeting in August, we could always put this on the second meeting in August and have, discussion, maybe a line item for discussion and then another line item for approval.
And just keep the agenda light so we have adequate time.
My personal would be if we're gonna, whatever direction the bond issue goes, get on that and then come back to this.
Correct.
Before the second would be my direction.
Perfect.
Just keep in mind that my audit is gonna start, sooner, and also I will have to get some information for the additional capital projects, and if we go with more funds, also that's gonna be part of the.
Affect your budget.
That's gonna come to our work, and then the budget is just, I guess, about that.
Let's tackle the bond issue, and get that one in the workshop gone, and then, come back and revisit this for the second meeting in August. You'll have all the directions and the finalization, budget committee, if they need to address anything, and let's take it from there. Okay, thank you very much. Moving on to item number 7, consider and remove from the table the following item tabled at the regular meeting on July 12, 2017. Consider and approve the financial reports for October through December 2016 and January, financial reports for October through December 2016 and January through May 2017, fiscal year 2017.
Move to remove from the table.
Second.
Motion to remove by Mr. Keplinger and a second by D. Wells. All those in favor?
Aye.
They are, none opposed, motion carries, thank you. Moving on to item number 8, consider and approve the financial reports for October through December 2016 and January through May 2017, fiscal year 2017.
Move to approve, Mr. Chairman. I didn't see anything jump out at me on those.
Motion for approval by Mr. Keplinger, is there a second?
I second, agree.
By D. Wells, are all those in favor? They are. Opposed, motion carries, thank you. Moving to item number 9, consider and approve unaudited revenue and expense reports for the periods of October 2016 through June of 2017.
Move to approve.
Motion for approval by Mr. Keplinger. This is a big packet on this.
Yeah. Second.
There's a second by D. Wells. All those in favor?
Aye.
There are none opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 10, consider and approve budget amendment for fiscal year 2016 through 2017, resolution number 141-07-17.
Move to approve with one question.
Motion for approval by Mr. Keplinger, with subject to one question.
Second.
Seconded by D. Wells. Are all those in favor? They are. Mr.
No, we
Keplinger?
need discussion.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Discussion.
Discussion first.
Discussion, yes.
Going to page 413 on that, I just had the one question on that $20,000 extra for permits and testing. What was that for again? This is for water plant, or noise department.
You're on number 20.
Noise?
It's crypto and equalize testing, that there was an amount removed at the beginning of the year, put on the budget, and that was unanticipated. And we're going to do that.
Okay, very good.
It's going to be for this year next year.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Moving on. Motion for approval made by Mr. Keplinger, seconded by D. Wells. Are all those in favor?
Aye.
They are. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 11, consider and approve the purchase of materials to restore sludge tubes, draw-off pipes, and tie rods with turnbuckles for clarifier number 3 at Isla Blanca Water Treatment Plant. Charles?
Yeah, this is our clarifier three, that we've already done work on for 5 years. We've already replaced the bathroom and laundry, but tubes, we didn't have time to do that repair last winter. So this is the materials for the from the original manufacturer, for us to do the install ourselves. So we're requesting approval to purchase materials in the amount of $16,240.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask you a question?
Yes.
I'd like to ask a D. Wells type question. Did you go out and look at other, is this a sole source provider? Did you go out and quote some people on this?
Well, in this case, it's going to be sole source, and it's a legal verifier.
Okay.
This is what a machine shop is just run higher.
Okay. Very good.
For turnbuckles?
Well, no, it's all the rods for sludge tubes to draw off the...
Right, but at the same time, with, didn't I read or hear, you got turnbuckles and all, is it just the connection rods?
Yeah, that's just reference from the old record line.
I'm sorry, you mumbled there.
Yeah, it was a reference from the record line that I used for lane before and turnbuckles, but that's more than that. It's the whole rod that goes from, the top of the third right to the bottom.
And they're, what are they
I mean,
made of? Are they stainless?
Yeah, that's stainless steel.
Which stainless?
Want to give more information on the push supplier?
316,
What
304? Yeah, or is that just the only thing that's available for this single or sole source vendor?
Yeah, I mean, the cruising nuts are 304, and this steel classification we're using for all the rods are HDT, I guess 5 galvan.
Yeah,
For
yeah.
so galvanized steel and the rods, and assembly, and then 304 stainless steel for the hardware.
I just asked from personal experience. I've had a costly experience in hot dip galvanized versus stainless not holding up, and so that's why I ask.
Yeah, I mean, I can check the code for...
I don't know. I
Most
almost
part it's underwater, so there shouldn't be too much exposure to it. But this is underwater.
right. Fresh water mostly
Well...
salinity, but there's still salinity in it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm good.
Motion to approve. Motion for approval by Mr. Keplinger,
Second.
second by D. Wells. Are all those in favor? They are. None opposed. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving to item number 12, consider and approve Garver work order number 3 regarding water reuse reclamation evaluation.
Once again, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Richard Correa with Garver for the record. What you've got in front of you is our third task order from the master service agreement. And this effort is to cover tasks for your Title 16 application that's due in a couple weeks. And that's to provide some peer review on your Title 16 feasibility report and to look at some NF applicability for the reuse.
That's the 21 deadline, 21st August deadline
Yes,
you're
sir.
referring to, and
17th.
17.
I'm sorry, yeah, 17th is for the funding, 21st is for the bonding.
Bonding.
Correct.
Didn't we just have a conversation, we're gonna have another workshop real quick to discuss which way we're going on this?
I think in the engineer's report, yes, sir, but this at least gives us a head start to have some second opinion numbers on what the system would cost going forward for your application.
We're still, in my mind, we still haven't decided if we're gonna go the reuse route or not,
Yes, sir.
as discussed in the workshop and in the engineer's report to some length of exactly what we're doing.
Yes, sir.
So I'm asking if we want to do this right now before we've made that decision, if we want to spend more money just studying something we don't know that we're gonna do.
Yes, sir. Well, again, this effort is just to refine the costs and get a second opinion on what the true cost would be.
$18,332.
Yes, sir.
Tell me how this would help me understand, excuse me, as to the conversation we had in our workshop of how it's in the best interest of the district to pursue the reuse project.
Yes, sir. So if there's some value engineering opportunities identified through this effort, we'll be better prepared to discuss what that number really should be in the next workshop that comes up.
I guess you're going, are we moving a little too fast on this? Is this a little?
Not so much there, even though it's 18 grand, that's a lot of money. And so my question was still, is if we want to spend the money, well, we haven't decided if we want to go to reuse, and we're kind of facing some deadlines that were put upon us. Pushing a corner. I like what I hear, that, this would give us the information. Please correct me, my understanding is, what you said was that you would give us, from this report, give us the information that would give me, as a director, a better understanding of the practicality of reuse or not.
Absolutely. So report's been performed. We haven't done a thorough review of it. That's what this effort is for, so that we can get you, hopefully, answers to the questions that you have, whether or not to pursue reuse at all.
Oh, I'll understand if you get it, so don't say hopefully. Okay? Just kiss it.
Understood. Yep. That's what this is for, though. Yes, sir.
Move to approve.
Motion for approval made by G. Wells, second by Mr. Keplinger. Are all those in favor? They are. Opposed, motion carries.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Moving on to item number 13, consider and approve an interlocal agreement with the City of South Padre Island, Lagoon Moderate Water District, to perform cleaning of its storm drain. This is pretty annual.
Questions?
Yes.
Do we need a motion before I ask my questions to staff on this and legal?
Choice.
All right. Pretty standard. But at the same time, my question is, Charles, is this something that's been negotiated in the best interest of the district? Is this something that's really helps us in the long run? I ask this because we've had a lot of discussion recently in the budget, and staff has told us that we've got to replace a $360,000 vacuum truck. Now, my business sense says, well, you need to recoup your cost on that, either through servicing your own customers. If you're going to take that equipment and you're going to take and provide outsourcing for another project, does it really take and benefit the district on what you're going to be compensated for, not just on staff and time, but that expensive piece of equipment? Are we really charging enough for this, given the expense of that equipment?
And I haven't conducted a review to ask that question, but we could always table and look into it.
I would feel more comfortable with that. Just simply $18,000. I'm sitting here saying, if we depend on that piece of equipment so much for the function of this district, and we're out there using it somebody else, and we suffer breakdowns and all that, I have a problem with it. And then Legal, I also question, number 3 in terms and conditions, that essentially that the district is, agrees to hold the city harmless and third party and everything else, so I'd like that to be looked at a little closer as far as taking on more liability than we should. Those are my 2 questions on that. I would move to table.
Motion made to table by D. Wells, seconded by Mr. Keplinger. All those in favor?
Aye.
They are.
Aye.
None opposed, motion carries to table. Thank you. Moving on to item 14, consider and discuss public notice on ad valorem taxes for the year 2017 at 04386. Do we have to, I guess I have a question on this also, but I don't know if we want to approve or deny or have a discuss question. If we approve this tonight, does that affect the bond issue, or do we have to establish the bond before we, this is a pass or unapproved?
No, right now it's just, it's kind of to let you know that we're advertising about this rate, because this is what is gonna help us to pay our current service. If the bond collection move forward,
It would be on next year.
it's gonna be on the following year, so it's not gonna affect
This rate?
Correct. In the approval, I'm gonna be requesting that on the following board agenda, because I need to publish this twice, 2 weeks.
Okay.
So, we're going down in the rate?
Yeah, the reason is because there was a decrease on the, what is it, on the person exemption for 65 years of age. So there was a little, decrease there, and that's why we have a little assistance there. Yeah, I already revised the rate with the financial advisor, and we agree with the same rate,
Same rate of what?
the calculation of the rate.
Based on the fact that you have less of expenditure, but it doesn't take in consideration the other expenditures that the district has. So, my question is this in the best interest?
Yes, sir.
By law, we could only
Charge.
We could only have, all this money from the taxes goes to pay off the bond payments. That's it. We can't use that money for any operations or anything else in the district. All it can do is go to the bond
Bonding
payments.
only.
That's it. So that's why it has to be set at a certain level based on our payments.
Thank you for the clarification. My question now is that going to take, if we reduce the rate, is that going to take and not allow us to accelerate the payment of the bonds, maintaining the current rate to pay the bonds off quicker?
No, this is just to pay on a yearly basis. You cannot pay in advance or anything like that. So we're just asking the property tax owners, the homeowners, to pay 20% as the property.
I understand. Thank you.
Motion to approve. Motion for approval by
Second.
Mr. Keplinger, second by D. Wells. Are all those in favor? They are. Are there any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 15, consider and approve adopting a revised investment policy for the New Monterey Water District, resolution number 1510717.
I'd like to make a motion to table this because we've got the old one and the new one, and there's nothing highlighted. I don't know what the changes are.
And actually, right there, it's included in the resolution, it's only those revisions that we have in the resolution, that it says page 5, 6 suitable and authorized investments, and it's just, it's some sort of a formatting, and also on the second portion, the legislation, supposedly, they just added, for example, on Wells Fargo, we need to add security, not just leave it, Wells Fargo only. So it's only minimum changes, but since this, policy is regulated by our, local government code, every year it's updated, and usually our minimum changes based on whatever legislation, we're provided every year. In our investment, officer, follow revise the policy, and those were the only changes.
I'm not ready to sign off on that. I hear what you're saying, it's recommendation between you and staff, the bonding company. But at the same time, you're wanting my signature on here as secretary. I need to take this more seriously. I see the the orange highlights that I'm squinting to read right now, and I'm not comfortable doing it right now.
Motion to table?
Motion to table by Mr. Keplinger,
Second.
second by D. Wells. Are all those in favor? They are. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 15, consider and approve adopting a revised investment policy for the Laguna Monterey Water District, resolution number 1510717.
Move to approve the report.
Motion for approval by Mr. Keplinger.
We're on 15? 16. Thank you. Second.
Second made by D. Wells. All those in favor?
Aye.
Are. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Moving on to item number 17, consider and approve the disbursements. Are there any questions on the motion to approve all of the disbursements, unless there's a specific question about any one in particular? We'll pull it out, discuss it individually. Motion for approval made by Mr. Keplinger,
Second.
seconded by D. Wells. All those in favor? They are. Any opposed? None. Motion carries. Thank you. Moving on to item number 18. Consider and approve change order number 1 with CSA Construction, Inc. for Port Isabel wastewater treatment facility modifications.
Alright, so these, I guess I can start this off. I mean, we have eight different requests.
Let me ask this question to the chairman first, please. Can we address this agenda item after we come out of executive session?
We don't have a table or anything, we just move
Just
forward.
take it out of order.
Take it out of order? Okay.
Not to hold up everybody, but I'd like to speak with legal to fully understand what we're doing.
We're going to revisit that item after executive session. Moving on to item number 19, which is executive session permitted by the Open Meetings Act, VTCA Government Code Section 551001, and sequence under Section 551071, consultation with attorney, consider and discuss potential litigation at the Port Isabel wastewater treatment facility. Going to need a motion to go into executive session at 6:19 p.m. Motion made by Mr. Keplinger, seconded by D. Wells. We are in executive session. We'll take a short 5-minute recess, and we will resume.
And it won't take long, guys, it won't take us long in executive session, we won't hold you up.
Welcome back. I need a motion to come out of executive session at 6:50 p.m., please.
So move.
Motion made by Mr. Keplinger, seconded by D. Wells, to come out of executive session. All those in favor?
Aye.
They are. None opposed, thank you. Consider and discuss potential litigation at the Port Isabel wastewater treatment facility.
Item 20.
No, we have to go with executive session first.
Okay.
Sorry, yes, consider and item 20, consider an action on executive session item if necessary.
Well, I'd like to make a motion for the attorney to proceed as directed.
Motion made by Mr. Keplinger. Is there a second? Seconded by D. Wells. Are all those in favor? They are. None opposed. Thank you. Motion carries. We're back to revisiting item number 18. Consider and approve change order number 1 with CSA Construction, Inc. Port Isabel wastewater treatment facility modifications.
I got a few questions to somebody, if I can, just for my understanding of some of the change orders.
Yes.
If I may.
Yes, sir.
One change order is for the generator enclosure, value engineering, I understand that, and then it's the number 1 item, it's taking spec calls for aluminum panels, and then proposed to change the Cummins factory enclosure. What are those panels made out of?
Which I don't know if we can help out with some of the.
Yeah,
I don't know if you were asking there. It's still aluminum.
Still aluminum. It didn't say here, so.
It's just a different gauge aluminum.
Okay, that's all I'll make sure we weren't going steel. 'Cause
No.
It didn't.
No, definitely not.
Okay, and then, Bear with me. And in one area, you're changing the air piping, stainless steel from 316 to 304.
Oh, okay, that's a different proposal, yes.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
And, you know, everybody's comfortable that we're going to a more corrosive potential material in 304 versus a 316.
This isn't actually, this is the supports. This is the structural supports for the air piping, not the piping itself.
Okay, so just the supports.
Yes.
And will they be painted or anything?
No.
They're just going to be bright, so 304 will just turn rust color over time, but it'll still be
Yeah,
structurally
it'll show a
sound.
little discoloration, but
But
it'll
it'll structurally sound.
Correct, it will not,
I can understand.
corrode.
I can understand that very well. Those are my questions.
Consider an approved change order number one with CSA Construction Inc. for Israel wastewater treatment facility modifications. Is there a motion?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion to approve the item, the change order, subject to the district maintaining its rights to seek damages for any mishandling of this project, and subject to the official approval by Texas Water Development Board of the change order.
Got a motion made by Mr. Kemper, second made by D. Wells.
Before we vote, is that his contractor? I think, in fairness, you know, we're good there. Thank you.
Motion made by D. Wells. All those in favor?
Aye.
None. Is there any opposed? None. Motion carries. Mr. Gentlemen, thank you everyone for their time this evening. Meeting adjourned at 6:54 p.m. You all have a good night.